set the tone for the
parents still invited to come sit in the classroom?
Absolutely.
So we still can come. They can still do as much as they want? Because my mother was there all day.
Yeah, kids don't normally enjoy it.
I didn't like it, but it didn't get anything, so it didn't matter. I liked it.
Yeah.
But the reason I said, obviously, the rapport that my parent, every parent that's there with the teacher, be more because now you've shown an interest. You action daily sometimes or weekly sometimes with that teacher. So that teacher, the parent is involved in doing their part, so it helps even do more with that student. And I think it's human nature, simple nature. Do that because that's the we have involved. The other kids may not be so involved, we work. Maybe it's not the same level. Maybe it's just different. Happens.
I think for me, the most important thing was being able to foster those relationships with parents. I think I did enough into it. I didn't realize how that would be. I was on my kids.
Right.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Kids all day, and parents I really was able to, but the success in their students. And being a young teacher, I was able to open up to my parents in a way that was like, I need your advice as well at home just as much as you need about what's going on at school.
The whole issue of parental involvement is so important at every level. I'm involved and truly getting them committed to that involvement. Do you visitations? The teachers still do that?
Our administration does a lot more just because
we're concerned for who we want or who we think might need a home visit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oftentimes, however, a lot of parental involvement on visitations or education from the school to the parent is usually in a negative context.
Right.
And visitation is done because the behavior of the student changed, modified, and as opposed to home visitation done just because more. You want to get more involved,
right?
And more in a proactive. And that I guess we need to how to incorporate a little better.
I think it's a skill. It's a skill that has to go with it because when I mentioned visitation, I meant in the positive vein. Positive. Because anybody's done anything wrong or in trouble. In fact, just the opposite. You show up as.
Right. Exactly. In kinder, I was always in the birthday party.
Yes.
You get to go with just every time the regardless of what you're doing, you go.
Right. Exactly. It's a great way to bond. It's a great way to relationships. Because I think relationship building, both for the child and with is those very special relationships built on mutual trust and respect. Right. And the only way to get those, is time spent. Face to face, eyeball to eyeball. It's not text message, not email, it's not phone. You cannot develop that kind of relationship if you do it face to face. And Stephanie, that's why it's so important. The famous phrase, you can never over-communicate, you can only under-communicate. You just got to keep communicating, and when you think well enough, do it some more. You can never do it enough.
Sometimes in my classroom, I have students who feel bad that they can't come in into FaceTime with me, so I feel like at the beginning of the year, it's so important to let all of my parents, I would love to have in the classroom an hour every week to read-ins or volunteer, but if you can't, that doesn't mean I think doing what you should at home. Give you other ways to help yourself.
Let me ask the question, because you hit up that we touched on too. When you say that, and your sincerity and great expressing that to parents are still skeptical. Don't you really want them there? And I don't know how, I hear it in so many things I do in other with other schools, and everybody says, well, but they really don't want us there.
I think
they say that, but
I think that's more unique to urban education.
Right.
I hate to bring this. We're looking at some and National Center for Educational Research shows that 2/3 of the students of kindergarten students in urban, some one of 4 at-risk, whether they parent less in high school education, single recipient of welfare or and English is in them.
Very significant four factors, though.
And our entering kindergarten students in the urban setting suffer that profile. Whereas in the suburban setting, it's the opposite. Two-thirds don't have any of those risk factors. Right. So I think a lot of unique to the urban setting. I
think probably because in certain schools in the wherever the child may have been, some schools really don't want. When they say it, but they don't want it. When any parent, even had a negative experience trying to access something, you're sometimes very hesitant in the field again.
It's unfortunate. I was going to say it's unfortunate because when I do have parent volunteer classroom who come and pull a or pull one-on-one students outside of my classroom, you can see how much the kids love it, how kids get from it. So it's unfortunate. You know,
I think there are ways our sides to battle that, at least in the year, is house obviously is mandatory. Teachers do the literacy, and that's right away getting them to knowing. And another way is by your relationship with once they see that once they see that child is so interested in the parent wants to and what's going on.
And I think a lot of times we skip time conferences and parents assume it's going to be a negative thing. And a lot of times I just want to talk to you because I want to tell you what you're doing with your child at home. Thank you. You know, we have that mutual, and I'm able to connect with your child and your role, and I'm doing my so even having just open positive with parents is just so.
Remember in my second grade, the teacher used to pin a note and send it home about once a week with a positive update. I'm doing what I did this week and last week, something fun and crazy I did. Of course, you don't dare take that note off. You can do anything you want with that safety pin. That's right. I think the more it's something that really lifts up the child, lifts their spirit by spirit lift, it makes them. It is all about that bonding process.
And coming from kindergarten, I was
same school.
Same school. In fact, the students teaching kindergarten, my first year teaching math.
Oh, how nice. Nice.
But I was surprised at how that had been lost along the way. When I was in kinder, when I was teaching, it was normal to call the parents, to call negative discussions, but for very positive, your daughter, and always keep communication open. And when I get to 5th grade, and for some reason lose that, and same intention in 5th to communicate with the parents very openly, positively as well as negatively.
Small pause and break, but I want to give you something about on the break. We're going to teach each one of you to think about the futurist now. Public education as a futurist. What has to happen? Has to be done differently. Has to be changed in what we do it now and how we do to really make the critical impact trying to make upon these children, urban children, particularly as schools, in your school areas, particularly with all the economic problems that the kids face. What are the non-negotiables as a futurist? You had your crystal ball for the future that you like to see happen. Non-negotiables, that has to happen. You're watching Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne, with our wonderful group of teachers from last year. Please